Right, so hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Boss back to gaming.com, and as you can see, we have another monitor, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the Philips Momentum 559M1. It is a large format display, not just for gaming, but definitely you can use it with an Xbox, a PS5, or you can use it as a TV with an Android cable box, and also as a PC monitor. So a lot of those things we're going to be covering in this video. So stay with me. This is your boy Boss back to gaming.com, and let's find out more in this video. So this is the Philips 559M1RYV Momentum monitor, and Philips actually positions this as a premium living room monitor, but that word, monitor, is more fitting for a desktop screen. Yes, you can put the Philips 559M1 Momentum on a desktop, a very large one, but you'll need to be quite distant to really appreciate the entire screen. So at the end of the day, you'll want this as an entertainment centerpiece in a central location like your game room or living room. So in this video, I'll help show you how to maximize any large format monitor and also talk about the gaming experience on the Philips 559M1. But why would someone even want a 55-inch monitor? We've covered this before actually in another big format monitor review, but to sum it all up, in today's monitor landscape, a TV would just be a monitor with analog inputs. In smart TVs, a sort of operating system. Of course, that is an oversimplification, but regardless of the main demographic of people who may be interested in this device, especially in the Philippines, most of you guys will probably have a digital cable box that has an HDMI output, removing the need for the older coaxial inputs or the RCA and component cable inputs. So, speaking of input, let's see what we're working with on the Philips 559M1, shall we? As the name implies, this is a 55-inch screen with a BA panel. For anyone keeping up with Philips releases, this actually succeeds the 558M1, but now supports HDMI 2.1, as the previous model does not have HDMI 2.1 as its primary inputs. Speaking of HDMI 2.1, this monitor supports up to 3 HDMI 2.1 devices and can do 4K 120Hz via that interface, while the 4K 144Hz rating can be achieved using the single DisplayPort 1.4 input. We also have 4 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports from a PC pass-through, as well as a USB-C capable of 65-watt charging. There's also a single 3.5mm audio output jack, but you'll probably never gonna need it because this monitor has a big built-in soundbar. So, Philips has teamed up with Bowers and Wilkins and have included a pre-installed 40-watt RMS soundbar. And that clip you're listening to right now is 20% volume, but it can go way higher than that. Another unique feature of this monitor is Ambiglow. While you can use Ambiglow to just dress the back of the screen area, it does give a less harsh visual area for your eyes, so it's not as high contrast, especially in a dark setting. Take note that Ambiglow works best if you have the monitor against a wall. So for usage scenarios where you're not going to be using it directly against a wall, I highly recommend in just turning Ambiglow off. While you can actually select your desired color, Ambiglow has a follow video mode which dynamically follows the screen colors and creates an illusion of a larger display. I did mention in the beginning of this video that you can use the Philips 559M1 as a TV of sorts. All you need is a digital cable box like the Vision Experience box from Converge right here. You can use other TV boxes as long as they have HDMI output that you can hook up to the M1. So this functionality expands to other devices, and with 4 input options, you can connect a PC by the DisplayPort and then populate the HDMI 2.1 with a gaming console, a cable box, and then another device like another console. While I don't see this monitor feature being used in a lot of applications, the Philips 559M1 Momentum supports picture-by-picture display. That means that you can pull up two inputs and put them side by side. It's basically two monitors, put portrait position and then play side by side. I does have limited use, but it's still a feature and you can use it however you like. If you're using this as a PC screen, Philips states that this monitor is rated at 125% sRGB and 95% DCI-P3. It can work fairly well as a preview monitor for digital photo, and video works for professional users. And lastly, gaming performance. I have to say 4K 120Hz on the PlayStation 5 is a real marvel. It's nice to see consoles actually hanging with gaming PCs in a frame rate standpoint, but while they're not as graphically detailed, anyone who has been chomping at the bits for Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC would be fine with what we have right now. That is if you have a PlayStation 5. This monitor supports HDR 1000 and HDR itself has various settings you can use. I highly recommend finding the right mix for you, as some of the HDR settings end up leaving the colors really strong. For PC gaming, it's as expected from a 144Hz screen, but with the monitor screen real estate of 55-inch, 4K is more ideal. With all of that said, is the Philips 559M1 Momentum worth the price? With an SRP of 70,430 pesos, its primary competition are 48-inch OLEDs on the lower end and then 55-inch OLEDs on the higher side of the price spectrum. But barring the advantage of OLEDs like its inky blacks and more of those things, the Philips 559M1 would position itself on the same size models, 55-inch, that promises the same features, but of course with a cheaper pricing than compared to OLEDs. This is most true for anyone who see themselves in the scenarios that I've highlighted and don't want nor need an OLED, especially in cases where they be juggling between multiple always-on usages like a work display. Of course, this all hinges on the fact that you need to have the space to work with, as you'd want to be at least 3 feet away from the screen. Otherwise, you'd be in a nosebleed territory, especially for PC use. Luckily, there are wireless keyboards and mice and fold-away desks in Lazada or Shopee that you can set up for this specific purpose. For everything else, there are consoles, of course, that have wireless controllers and TV boxes that have remotes, which pretty much solves all of our problems. That being said, if you're still unsure if you want this monitor or not, you can hit me up in the comments below or message me directly in social media and I'll be happy to walk you through your purchasing decision. The Philips 559M1RYV Momentum is now available in the Philippines. Check with your favorite dealer, Shopee or Lazada for price and availability. Once again, this has been your boy Boss back to gaming.com. If you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.